Good afternoon. Welcome to the NetScaler Live series. I'm your host, Stephen Wright. Today, we're going to be covering making Splunk deployments smarter with NetScaler Insights. With that said, onward to our agenda. I'm going to pass over now to our first presenter of the series. It's Mayo. Mayo, I pass over to you.
Thank you, Steven, for a warm welcome. Hello, everyone. My name is Mayur Patil. I'm from NetScaler Product Management team. Today, I'm going to talk about NetScaler integration with Splunk. So, from that agenda point of view, I will first talk about why observability is important from the NetScaler point of view, and how do we integrate with the Splunk? What are the different use cases that can help to take your insights, your application insights to the Splunk, which followed by a cool demo. So stay tuned and please let's get started. First, I want to bring one of our use case that one of our customer is using. So it's a large bank, multinational bank, who has requested us that we are really focusing on the central observability service, where to improve the reliability for our business critical applications like banking apps, mobile apps, or marketplace apps, we are developing the central observability service, and we have selected Splunk Enterprise as our preferred observability service. So to keep our mission critical applications up and running and to have a high availability and to monitor that, we need NetScaler to send the monitoring stats of the application to the Splunk. So one of the use case what customer was asking, which is very specific to NetScaler, is that NetScaler service status up or down. Very simple ask. However, it is very important from the application availability point of view. Second, they also, while doing the POC, they also understood that NetScaler has rich insights and powerful telemetry that they can consume and make their observability decisions smarter. One such is that P99 latency. Because if they are having any application performing slow or anonymous, there is an impact on their business. So to avoid that, one of the critical KPI that they measure is the P99 latency. And as you can see on the dashboard, this is exactly taken from the customer deployment, and they are highly monitoring their each applications into the milliseconds. And whenever they see the anomaly, they take the action in terms of alerts or notifying the admins. So the NetScaler, which are having the different set of telemetries, we are classifying those into three buckets. Obviously, there could be more such distributions of the telemetry. To keep it very high level, you can consider the NetScaler telemetry can be consumed on the Splunk or any other observability tool, which consisted of applications and API insights. When I say application and API insights, these are really the applications KPIs or the counters, such as when I said latency. There are other traffic profiles that you want to monitor. For example, who are the different clients accessing my application? Are the legitimate clients accessing my applications? Is there any error which I am encountering for the different protocols of an application? For example, I have an HTTP or SSL app. What are the handshake errors I'm getting? Is there any 5xs or 4xs error? So these are the common set of signals, or the I would say the telemetry data, which are essential for monitoring the application health, that definitely can be provided from the NetScaler to the Splunk. Another
So,
classification.
Mayo,
Yes.
it sounds like this would be of great interest to pretty much any large enterprise who've got third-party reporting tools. Presumably, it would also be good for anyone debugging slow or problematic applications.
Definitely, Steven. That's a really good point. As I mentioned, right, like we have seen the use case from the previous slide. The P99 latency is one such example, because nobody wants to have a anonymous or the slow performing app into their mission critical environment. Yeah.
Awesome.
Moving on. Yeah, moving on. So next bucket is on the security. So application security again is the very crucial for a business to go ahead without any problem. So for that, we have a different type of profiles that we on the NetScaler which we can export it, such as the WAF attack, bot attacks, what happens, how have we have how NetScaler has prevented that. Let's say if there is any CVE on the NetScaler, how was the protection of it versus how many we have blocked, and then also the certificate management of the SSL. So NetScaler can do the SSL handshake, it can do the end-to-end encryption. In that, we also understand what is the profile that we use for SSL handshake. Are there any certificates which are getting expired? Is there the SSL handshake which is happening having A+ rated application or not? So all that decisions is with NetScaler, and that can be taken to the Splunk as well. Last but not least is the infrastructure telemetry. So this is all about the NetScaler, because enterprise customers will have a different deployments of the NetScaler. They will have a multiple NetScaler appliances deployed. So getting the telemetry of each NetScaler is important, and at one place it's more important than that. So the saturation metrics like CPU memory utilization, the NetScaler health, or if example any feature uses you want to track on the NetScaler. So all that infrastructure telemetry can be exported. So this is the overview of what NetScaler can do. However, I have just given the very high level insights, but there are many more things that NetScaler can do, and we'll see some few use cases which are important, and we have seen our enterprise customers have already adopted that. So here in this diagram or in this topology, I just want to tell you that how we are integrating with Splunk and what are the different insights that we are able to export. And then I will talk about this from the Splunk dashboard, which will be our demo. So like I mentioned, the NetScaler has this application security and infrastructure telemetry. You can take this data directly from NetScaler and can be exported to the Splunk. So we call it as this NetScaler insights, like metrics, events, logs, classified into these buckets like golden signals, or the protocol uses metrics, or the management logs. For example, you want to track how many different NetScaler has been accessed by which clients. Are there legitimate access happening or not? The API calls which are happening to NetScaler, how frequent are those? Are there any errors while accessing those APIs calls? Or some security compliance logs. Let's say who has accessed the NetScaler, how many times, from which location, so and so forth. So these are the management log category. So all this data which is with NetScaler can be exported from the NetScaler directly to the Splunk. And then we also have a NetScaler console, previously known as the ADM. So ADM has its own telemetry, which is also coming from the NetScaler. The only advantage what we get in the ADM is that the processing and the aggregation of the data. As multiple NetScalers are connected to ADM or the NetScaler console, we have visibility across all the NetScaler and all the applications, and we can take the decisions like the SSL certificate management or the security insights. And now what we are seeing that our customers who are using these insights on the NetScaler also demanding us to export that onto the Splunk. So we very well understand that requirement of customer, and now what we are doing, we are also now exporting this process insights or aggregated insights which are available on the console to the Splunk. So I will pick one use case, and I will just go to the demo where you will see that the different categories of use cases which I have mentioned, how it will show and how it will be visualized on the Splunk. So let's first take the first use case. Like you could have seen, there are multiple stakeholders involved when this observability decision has to be made. For example, SRE platform teams to improve the incident response capabilities. For example, to keep mean time to detect or mean time to recovery as low as possible. You want to troubleshoot application health using golden signals. So this is a common terminology in the observability deployment. This means that you want to actually talk about different parameters or different insights which are spread across. First is latency, then different errors, then traffic distribution, and the saturation matrix. Saturation is CPU memory utilization. So let me just go to the first dashboard. This is the Splunk dashboard where you can see I have hosted this Splunk in my server, and one of my NetScaler, this is my NetScaler, which is connected to the Splunk. And as I was mentioning, like first use case is the latency. So Splunk is consuming the data from the NetScaler, and we are building the sample dashboards for you. So these dashboards are available on our Citrix download page for you to take a look. And also this telemetry which we are getting can be also included into your own dashboards. Idea is that NetScaler provides you the data which is important for your business decision making. So as I mentioning, P99, P90 are the different metrics or the latency information that we can export. Apart from that, the traffic profile, for example, how is my distribution of the client RTT, server RTT, how much is my response, what are the load on my different applications. If it is HTTP application, I also might be interested to knowing that what are the different URLs which are accessing my applications, which we are showing kind of here. Then what are the different methods, request methods which are getting access. One of the golden signal which I was mentioning is the error messages. So here we are saying how many of my total requests are having 200 okay, or are there any requests which are having 404 errors. So you can get the distribution. As you can see, right, almost 90% of my applications are performing 200. Ideally I should have everything 200 okay. So I will just go on this 11% of traffic and do the second level of insights and understand why there is 404. So this helps me to track that.
If I could just ask a question on that
Yes.
one. A lot of those metrics were focused around latency. The HTTP ones I find very straightforward to understand. You're getting an error from a server, you're going to investigate. There's a web page missing, you're going to investigate. How critical are our customers finding that latency data?
Oh yeah, Steven, like again, thanks for bringing the good questions. So latency is definitely one of the crucial parameter. Like almost, if I say of 10, 9 customers are asking me, Mayur, I just need latency. That's it. Because this is a very important, because I have different resources from which I can collect the telemetry data. But this latency information, what NetScaler can provide, I cannot get from any other resource. So latency is definitely important because we are into the data play traffic. We know the application better than anybody else. So this latency definitely helps to ensure that application performance is well managed and it is under control. Perfect. Moving on. So, like this is another of the golden signal, right? The use case what Steven and I was mentioning is about the pre-90 line latency, and the demo use case which I have shown here is about the same. So definitely, I would say that if you are also interested, or if you are also looking for similar telemetry from the NetScaler, I would request you to take a look at the sample dashboard which is available on the download section. I will also be sharing the resources for this deployment. You will able to get all the resources, and please give a try and let us know how it is getting benefited for you. Moving on. The third use case is about our protocol uses. As I was mentioning, I was just focusing on the HTTP. Let me talk about the SSL insights. So there are some SSL insights, right? Like I want to know, how is my SSL handshake happening? Are there any errors? Is my cipher suite I mean A plus rated? Is there any error during the SSL handshake? So all is what is the strength of my cipher, right? So all this information we can collect on behalf of your application from the NetScaler and provide it to the Splunk, where you can build your own dashboards and take the decision on the SSL. Because nowadays almost every application run on SSL. So this makes a very important decision making factor to know how is your health of your application in terms of SSL protocol uses. So these are the sample graphs we have plotted. Yes.
Just a quick question on that. Putting health of the application to one side, when I'm
Mhm.
configuring SSL handshakes on the NetScaler, what I probably would do is I would have an SSL profile which listed the handshake, or rather
Right.
the ciphers that I wanted it to use, and I would
Mhm.
list those in priority order. You know,
Right.
I might have some down at the bottom of there that I'm thinking I probably don't want to use those. They're
Right.
right down at the very bottom. Maybe, for example, I still support some Cypher for my very old Windows XP style thin
Mhm.
clients. Would it be a good use case of this to be able to determine kind of the impact to the business of getting rid of those? I'd be able to say this many clients per day, this many per month would be impacted if I got. Is that the thought?
Yeah, definitely. Like as you mentioned, right? Like earlier, without telemetry, you have to manually go and understand
Mm-hmm.
what are the different ciphers, which and what is the adoption of it. Here in the telemetry, you will come to know which are the top rated ciphers, which are actually getting negotiated. If they are getting
Mm-hmm.
negotiated, what are the errors for it? So the health of that complete handshake you can determine from such dashboards, and you will take the decision of, let's say, if you have selected the cipher X but it has some
Mm-hmm.
problem, but you come to know that okay, there is a cipher Y which is better than this and not giving any error, then simply you can move to that and you can change the configuration on the NetScaler.
I was thinking less of problems and more of something that's working beautifully. But
Right.
my security team might say, I don't want the old ciphers. Whereas my business team might be saying, well, we need them because we've got 10,000 old thin clients.
Right.
Some maybe are running the old version. And with this data, it sounds like I can make much smarter decisions because I'm
Right.
no longer saying maybe some are running the old version and need them. I'm saying categorically none of them are. We can see over the last month, none have connected like that. Or yes, 15 of them have. And presumably I could get other data to correlate with this. You know, I could say, hey, there were 15 that were connecting. I can map the IP addresses they're coming from and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So like you had touched upon the two personas. One is the SIEM team, which is the SecOps teams, and one is the DevOps teams. So both will have different needs. DevOps team will be focused on, okay, I have this application which needs this cipher. I want to increase that option. But SecOps team will say, no, this is the compliance. This is how you need to react, and this is how you have to import it. So that way, this complete one unified dashboard will give you the visibility and help each stakeholder to be on the same page.
Awesome.
Cool. Yes. So yes. So like I want to just move on to the another use case. Like the first three use cases are from NetScaler to the Splunk, where you have seen we have exported the data from Splunk, we have built the dashboard, and Splunk is showing the graphs. Now, the two use cases right now I want to talk about how we are sending the aggregated information or the process insights from the console to the Splunk. So one such insights which is there on the ADM or on the NetScaler console is the SSL certificate management. So let me just show you how we can just export that to the Splunk. Yeah. So this is the dashboard where you can see it has kind of giving the similar interface what you could have seen on the console. So idea is that like Steven and I were discussing on the health and the benefit of having this different cipher and getting negotiated under NetScaler and showing it on the observability. So this also gives you the similar view. Here you will come to know that what are the certificates which has already been expired or nearing to expire, and then all about the uses, what are the different applications, how they are using it, and the percentage distribution. So this is one of the really good insight what our ADM console customers are using it, and based on their requirement and the need, we have seen that they also need it on the Splunk because there is a central team of the Splunk who needs this data on their dashboard. So we are exporting that. The another use case is about the WAF and bot insights. Again, these insights we are actually providing on the ADM console, and there was a need to show it on the Splunk. And as I mentioned, right, like one of the important reason for it is it to have a different personas. The NetScaler console persona is different than the SecOps teams or the SIEM persona. So to manage the usability between them, or to ensure that the right decision is taken based on the observability dashboards, we are actually providing this information on the Splunk as well. So this is the sample dashboards, which is again available on the download side. And here we are providing the information on what are the different attacks which has happened, what was the severity, then the what is a category, like is it a WAF or the bot attack, and then different application based on their bot violations information is provided. So yes, this is a dense dashboard we have created looking at the need, but there are many more things that we are able to export. And our idea is that our customers can also build their own dashboards, or they would already have it and they just need simply the data from the NetScaler. So that provision is also there. So
Can I just clarify that? I mean, I'm not a big user of Splunk, but
mhm.
does that mean that if I've got a requirement to use bits of what you've shown on one dashboard and bits of something else on a dashboard, that I can create my own completely custom dashboard for my business use case?
Yes, yes, definitely. So, if yes, that is again right. Good question, right? Like as you see, I have split the demo use cases into 5, but you can see have a single use case covering all 5. The
Mm-hmm.
reason for putting all 5 use cases into separate bucket, if you notice, there are different personas who are required, who needs that information. So you may have that SIEM tool is the Splunk, or and you may have your DevOps team using the Elastic Kibana dashboard. So in
Mm-hmm.
that case, you will ask for HTTP or the golden signals on the Kibana, and you may ask your this SSL insights or the WAF insights on the Splunk. So my whole idea of showing all these 5 demos was that we are having this integration available. You can mix and match these use cases and consume the telemetry of your choice on your preferred
Mm-hmm.
observability tool.
So we've split them out into groupings that we think are really logical, which
Mhm.
probably align to most businesses.
Right.
But actually, if I want something else and I want to go and pull some weird and wonderful stats, I can 100% build that in my own custom dashboard.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Right, right. Yeah. Also on that note, right, like let me touch upon one more use case. It is the management log. This is also one of the common requirement we have got from the customer, because we have a syslog and different modes of exporting the data from NetScaler to the Splunk. However, that was very limited to the finite number of information or the finite set of information from the NetScaler. So the management log, which I was talking about, like the access to the NetScaler or the security compliant related log. So those were not possible to send earlier. But now you can send this management logs from the NetScaler to the Splunk. So these are the sample different logs files which are available on the NetScaler. I'm trying to visualize. For example, there is one of the management logs such as the auth log. So how many times NetScaler login has happened? So you can just see there are 90 different things. And once you click on that, you will actually get the information on at what timestamp, who was the client who has accessed it, what type of the log it is, at the what timestamp, so and so forth. So once you do the second level of deep dive into these insights, you come to know that more about that particular insight.
And,
Also,
and from a technical standpoint, where are those logs coming from? Are those logs going up and being collected in NetScaler console and coming down from there, or are these logs coming directly from the NetScalers towards Splunk?
yeah, so this particular dashboard which I am highlighting is coming from the NetScaler. So if I just go back to the slide, so here as you see, right, where I have summarized, so these different management logs or the protocol uses or the golden signals are the telemetry which we are kind of delivering from NetScaler, and I would say exporting from NetScaler to the Splunk. And the 2 use cases which I have highlighted, SSL insights or the security insights, which are on the net console, can also be exported on the Splunk. So these were the 5 or 6 use cases which I have demoed on the Splunk. But the idea is that everything is coming from NetScaler. Only thing is that this is not non-processed data. This is a raw data. When you set the raw data, you need to build the dashboard. You need to process. You need to have a processing logic on the Splunk. On the other hand, console is doing everything for you. It is building that process insights and just exporting it.
Okay. And is it sending those processed insights out live? Do I have to think about how long data is being stored inside of NetScaler console, or is that data all coming down live and the storage is just in Splunk at the end?
Everything is going live. You can it's I would say as soon as I mean there is a small buffer, right? Once it's full, we will send it. So there is no as such trigger point. So whenever we see that transaction is coming from the NetScaler, we will export. And on the Splunk, you will have that timer of how long the historical data you want to store.
Thank you.
Yeah. So here, just to give you the insights from the NetScaler end. So this is the NetScaler, as you see, right? I have split this one full Splunk integration into multiple pieces of telemetry. So that for that reason, I have created a different analytics profile. So we use the analytics profile to configure the Splunk as an endpoint to the NetScaler. And from NetScaler, then we can send the data of your choice. It can be metrics, it can be events, or it can be logs. In the logs, it can be the management log, it can be non-management log. So those are the informations you can just configure on the NetScaler, and you will able to get it on the Splunk. Yeah. So the demo which I have shown is already available in our latest NetScaler release. So I would encourage everybody to just take a look and let us know if you find these use cases are important. And also, if you see that if you have any use case which was not covered as part of this demo, please reach out to me or Steven, and we will see how we can help you. Yeah, these are the resources that are available on our documentation. Once we'll publish it on our community, where you can take a look, and also you will able to see the sample dashboards which I have highlighted in the demo section.
Well, thank you again. That looks absolutely superb. I think with that, there's only remains is to say a few words about NetScaler community. With that in mind, Isha, can I hand across to you?
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot. So, guys, in the previous NetScaler Connect, we mentioned that we will have some change in the look and feel of the community. We have joined hands with Citrix community, and we will have our NetScaler section within, and inside discussions, technical articles, resources, events, you will find all the NetScaler content under the NetScaler category. And these live demos and webinars will still exist as is. So your experience will be a little different, but then you will be able to find whatever is available on community. You can go over the articles, gain your knowledge, engage in the discussions with NetScaler content and Citrix content as well, and you'll be able to get your expertise. If you want to showcase your expertise, you can contribute in answering the questions. And also, if you want to find the lab section, that would be under the education section now. So currently we just have NetScaler labs. So you can go ahead and click on the lab section, and you can try out the labs. Go ahead and try out our product. Also, for the article section, you can go and upskill your knowledge. Or if you want to contribute in the article section, please let us know. We can co-author with you and help you out. And the live events and the connect, the NetScaler live demo and NetScaler connect sessions, the upcoming ones and the past ones would be on this event section. If you click on each of any of the event, so for example, if so this is our new community. We will post, you will have a button that will be enabled here itself, which would say watch on demand, and you will have the recording link there. So you don't need to worry that where is the past recording, or if you want to view the recordings, you can just come here, click on watch on demand, and you'll be able to access the live demo recording. and you can enjoy whatever we have on the community and be a part of it. Over to you, Stephen.
Thank our audience for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.